نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Inshallah, we will continue today from ayat number 19. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الإنسان خلق هلوعا. Verily, man was created very impatient. So the word halu'a literally means one who is greedy, impatient, and lacking courage. Ibn Abbas says that the word halu'a refers to a person who is greedy about unlawful wealth. Ibn Jubair says it means miserly person, and Muqatil says impatient and miserly. So some ulama actually say that the definition of halu'a is what comes in the next two ayats. إِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا. Upset when evil touches him, and withholding when good touches him. So these verses describe the fickle nature of man. They tell us how man is not capable of dealing with challenges. He starts complaining when any hardship is experienced, and he quickly becomes unhappy with fate, gets upset and loses patience. On the other hand, when something good reaches him, such as wealth and comfort, he becomes a miser in spending. He holds it back from sharing with others, does not give out the rights of needy, as in sadaqah, or does not even pay zakah, which is obligatory. Narrated by Abu Hurairah and Bukhari, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, شَرُّ مَا فِي رَجُلٍ شُحٌ هَالِعٌ وَجُبْلٌ خَالِعٌ. The worst thing that can be in a man is greedy impatience and unrestrained cowardice. So after describing the innate nature of human beings, that is, they're impatient and greedy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states an exception in the next ayah. إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ. Except the observers of Salah. So man is generally impatient, except those who offer prayers, because they are no longer like other human beings. They have been transformed by their iman. So when a Muslim experiences an issue, a problem in this world, he remains patient with the firm understanding that he will be rewarded in the akhirah. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explains the nature of believers as it comes in a narration by Suhaib in Bukhari. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلُّهُ خَيْرٌ وَلَيْسَ ذَاكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِلْمُؤْمِنِ إِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ سَرَّاءٌ شَكَرَ فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءٌ صَبَرَ فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ. Strange are the ways of a believer, for there is good in every affair of his. And this is not the case with anyone except him. This is not the case with anyone else except in the case of a believer. For if he has an occasion to feel delight, he thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thus there's a good for him in it. And if he has any hardship come to him, he endures it patiently. Thus there's a good in it for him. So to repeat the ayahs, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ خُلِقَ هَلُوعًا إِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ. So note this pattern. This is a pattern which is very similar to what you see in Surah Asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal Asr. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. By the time, indeed, mankind is in loss, except for those who have believed and done righteous deed, and advise each other of truth and advise each other of patience. So in Surah Asr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first describes a general principle, an axiom, and then mentions an exception. So mankind is in loss, except those who do these four things. Similarly, here in Surah Al-Maarij, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares that mankind is impatient and greedy, complains in hardships, becomes miser in good times, except Musalli. So let's go a little bit deeper into the meaning of the word Musallin. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the word Musallin here, He's actually referring to belief and Iman, because Salah is the biggest sign of Iman. Now the word for believers is generally mu'mineen, which is clearly different from the word Musallin. So how do we know that they can be used interchangeably? So as it comes in Surah Baqarah, وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُضِيعَ إِيمَانَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِالنَّاسِ لَرَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. And never would Allah have caused you to lose faith, meaning prayers. Indeed, Allah is to the people, kind and merciful. So here the word uses iman, and as we'll learn in a little bit, it actually means prayer, because this ayah in Surah Baqarah was revealed after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam migrated to Medina. So when he was in Mecca, he used to pray towards Baytul Maqdis, but because Baytul Maqdis and Baytullah were in the same line, he also was facing towards Baytullah. When he moved to Medina, it was no longer possible to face both Baytul Maqdis and Baytullah at the same time because they were in opposite directions. Geographically, Medina is in the middle of Mecca and Sham. So when you're in Medina, on one side is Baytul Maqdis and on the other side is Baytullah. So for a few months, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam continued to pray towards Baytul Maqdis, but he had a strong desire to face towards the Qibla of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is Baytullah. So these ayats were revealed about the change of direction of prayer from Baytul Maqdis to Baytullah. However, when Muslims started to pray towards Baytullah, they developed a concern about those believers who had passed away in Mecca while they were facing Baytul Maqdis. So the concern was that their prayers were lost since they were facing the wrong Qibla, i.e. they were not facing Baytullah at that time, rather Baytul Maqdis. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this ayah in which he used the word imanakum for salah to reassure believers that the prayers of their deceased companions were not wasted, they were not lost. So again, coming back to the original point, could the word musallin be referring to mu'min? Yes. I just learned that indeed salah is equated to iman. Now there is another finer point to understand here. Someone reading this ayah may raise a very valid question. And if you look back, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ خُلِقَ هَلُوعًا إِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ. So the word insan is singular, and then later on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an exception in the plural form, musallin. So why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use the plural form musallin in the exclusion when the word insan is the singular form? So just understand one point here. There's something called isme jins, meaning when something is used to refer to the entire category, not a singular unit. So here the word insan is inclusive of all human beings as a single category. Therefore, it is valid to use a plural word, musallin, for exclusion. And as an example in English, think about the words nation or people or mankind. They are singular words, literally, but they refer to a group of individuals. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ, those who are regular in their prayers. So from this ayah onwards, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will describe a few more attributes of believers. So the first one here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions salah. So out of all the possible qualities of believers, the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts with is that believers are those who observe salah. So salah has a very special status among the righteous deeds. Let's spend a few minutes to reflect on the importance of salah. So one, it distinguishes believers from disbelievers. So narrated by Abdullah bin Buraidah in his side, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, إِنَّ الْأَحْدَ الَّذِي بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمُ الصَّلَاةِ فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. The covenant that stands between us and them is the salah. Whoever abandons it, he has committed disbelief. So salah is obligatory on a person as long as he's conscious. And just to understand the importance of salah, let's also look at the riwayah that comes in Sunan Abi Dawud narrated by Ali radhiyallahu anhu. He says the last words which the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke were as-salah, as-salah, ittaqullah, fima malakat aymanukum. Prayer, fear Allah about those whom your right hand possess. When you are planning to go on a very long journey, so you give instructions to your family about important matters to take care of in your absence. And think about this in this context. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was leaving this world with his full life of preaching Islam and thousands of instructions and guidance that he has shared throughout his life, what did he leave as the most important instruction for his ummah? Salah. Subhanallah. That alone is enough for us to understand the status of salah in our religion, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam thought of it as one of the last reminders of his life. The other word in this ayah is da'imun. What does da'imun mean? Well, there are a few different meanings. We can look at them. One of them is mustamirun, meaning to do something continuously. So does that mean the word da'imun is referring to a person who is always praying, that he's praying in the morning, in the evening, every hour, every minute? No. It means people who protect their prayers, that is, they offer at the appropriate time, but they perform salah repeatedly and consistently. Another meaning of the word da'imun could be understood as raqidun, meaning maintaining its condition, remaining consistent over time. Like it is said for water, ma'un da'imun, or ma'un raqidun, meaning stagnant water, because it remains at its place and maintains its state over a period of time. The third meaning of da'imun could be khashi'un, meaning the state of concentration and focus expected in salah. That is, those people who offer salah with concentration. So as it comes in a riwayah in Tibrani, it describes a pair of two people, narrated by Wada bin Samit. Imagine one of them, a person, he's praying such that when he prays, his prayers rise to the heavens. They have nur. And for his prayers, the doors of heavens are open, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts his prayers. So this prayer says to its performer, the one who offered the prayer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you like you protected me. And the second person, his prayer goes up, but the doors of heavens do not open. And the prayer is folded like a old garment and thrown at his face. And it says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wastes you like you wasted me. So what is the difference between these two prayers? Khushu. And khushu is at the heart of the prayer. It does not mean only just the perfect body movements. It means to pray with concentration and the understanding that I'm in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Narrated by Ammar bin Yasir in Sunan Abi Dawud, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَنْصَرِفُ وَمَا كُتِبَ لَهُ إِلَّا عُشْرُ صَلَاتِهِ تسعها ثمنها سبعها سدسها خمسها ربعها ثلثها نصفها. A man returns after saying his prayer while a tenth of his prayer, or a ninth part, or an eighth part, or a seventh part, or a sixth part, or a fifth part, or a third part, or half of it is recorded for him. So in your mind, you were thinking of getting full reward of salah, but due to lack of focus, attention, rushing your actions, thinking about something else, you're only getting part of the reward. Someone will protect us from being in a situation and allow us to focus in our salah. It is also said that if you want to judge your value in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at how much you value your prayer. Do you prioritize it over all the other matters of life? Do you organize your daily activities around salah? So for example, do you say things like, I will do this thing before the Zuhr salah, and I'll do this thing after the Asr salah? And if nothing occupies you in a way that you miss your salah, then inshallah, glad tidings for you, that you give respect and honor to something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given importance. And inshallah, you will be valued in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And compare this to someone who does not give much importance to salah. Sometimes he prays on time, sometimes prays late, so late that it falls outside the time of the prayer, sometimes sleeps over it, does not care whether he catches the jama'ah or prays alone, then it is a proof that he does not give importance to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made important. So he will not have any honor and any status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. In Surah Ma'un, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. So woe to those who pray, who are heedless of their prayer. That is, they delay their prayer, they pray, but do not take care of their prayer. So brothers, let's make an intention that we will take care of our salah. And for sure, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of us. Whatever happened until now, the way we might have thought about salah, the way we might have addressed it and offered it, inshallah, if we do our tawbah and then we are sincere in focusing again in our salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept it and forgive us. In Surah Tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِن تَابُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ فَخَلُّوا سَبِيلَهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. But if they repent and establish the prayer and pay zakah, leave them alone. Surely Allah is all forgiving, ever merciful. Let's go to the next ayah. وَالَّذِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ. And those in whose wealth there is a recognized right. So again, another quality of believer is that they give out zakah as prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know why zakat is called zakah? Because it purifies that person. It purifies that person's wealth. And also why sadaqah is called sadaqah? Because it shows that this person is truthful in his belief. And his iman is not superficial like those of munafiqeen. But when someone gives sadaqah or charity, he confirms his iman with a good action. لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ, for the one who asks and for the deprived one. So the difference between sa'il and mahroom is that sa'il is the one who asks for help, whereas mahroom is someone who is in need but does not ask out of self-respect. So a believer is helping both type of people, those who are asking and those who you know are in need, but they're not asking for your help. وَالَّذِينَ يُصَدِّقُونَ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ, and those who believe in the day of recompense. So although all believers hold this belief on the day of judgment, the difference between an average believer and a devoted one is that he makes every attempt to prepare for that day to meet his Lord. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ رَبِّهِمْ مُشْفِقُونَ, and those who fear the torment of their Lord. إِنَّ عَذَابَ رَبِّهِمْ غَيْرُ مَأْمُونَ, verily the torment of their Lord is that before which none can feel secure. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, and those who guard their private part. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ, except from their wives or their right hand possesses, for indeed they are not blameworthy. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ, but whoever seeks beyond that, then they are the transgressors. So these verses describe the boundaries of intimacy with wives and slave girls, but prohibits other means of gratification. And those means, which unfortunately are getting more and more common in our society, could be homosexuality, could be masturbation, unlawful relations, or temporary marriages like muta. All those other forms, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited Muslims to engage. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ, and those who keep their trust and covenants. Here, amanat is plural. Therefore, it is not limited to the items that people deposit with someone to keep them safe, which is more of a traditional understanding of it. Rather, it is broader and general in its meaning and applies to all obligations that are required to be fulfilled. That is, includes obligations to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be salah, sawm, zakah, hajj, and obligations to people like contracts, dealings, and interactions. Narrated by Abu Hurairah anhu, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ayatul munafiq thalathun, idha haddatha kadaba, wa idha wa'ada akhlafa, wa idha tumina khana." The signs of a hypocrite are three. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. And whenever he promises, he breaks his promise. And whenever he is entrusted, he betrays. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِشَهَادَاتِهِمْ قَائِمُونَ, and those who stand firm in their testimonies. Similarly, in this ayah, the word is shahadat, which is plural, and includes all testimonies, including testimony of faith of Islam, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the finality of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a messenger. And it also includes the testimony of, let's say, the crescent of the Ramadan and other testimonies in full. In Surah Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَكْتُمُوا الشَّهَادَةَ وَمَنْ يَكْتُمْهَا فَإِنَّهُ آثِمٌ قَلْبُهُ, and do not conceal testimony, for whoever conceals it, his heart is indeed sinful. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَىٰ صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ, and those who carefully maintain their salah. The same ayah comes in Surah Mu'minun with additional characteristics. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. So such people, they are the inheritors who will inherit Al-Firdaus. They will abide by it internally. أُولَٰئِكَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ مُكْرَمُونَ, they will be in the gardens honored, meaning they will be honored with various types of pleasures and delights. So let's quickly review from ayats 19-35. What we learned is humans are in general impatient and hasty, except those who are believers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outlines here many qualities of devoted believers. And finally, the reward of being a good believer is that you will be rewarded in the gardens of paradise. فَمَا لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا قِبْلَكَ مُهْطِعِينَ. So what is the matter with those disbelievers who are hurrying before you, O Muhammad? عَنِ الْيَمِينِ وَعَنِ الشِّمَالِ عِزِينَ. On the right and on the left in separate groups. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here rebukes disbelievers who in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw him and they understood the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that was sent to him, yet they decided to flee away from him and organize themselves in different groups against Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As it comes to Surah Mudaththir also, فَمَا لَهُمْ عَنِ التَّذْكِرَةِ مُعْرِضِينَ. Then what is the matter with them that they are from the reminder turning away? The word izin here means what is described by Ibn Abbas as a group of people. So on the right and on the left means that they're mocking him while they're turning away and running away from him. أَيَطْمَعُ كُلُّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ أَنْ يُدْخَلَ جَنَّةَ نَعِيمٍ. Does every man of them hope to enter the garden of pleasure? When Sahaba used to gather around Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these kuffar, disbelievers used to say in their hearts that, look, if these people will go to Jannah, as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is proclaiming, then we will also go to Jannah. And we will go even sooner than them because of our nobility. We have been given more wealth and status and children compared to them, so we are more deserving of Jannah. So the word yatma'u, meaning wish, hope, or desire. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying their hope to enter Jannah is baseless. It's a false hope, and they're not deserving of the garden of pleasures and blessings. كَلَّا إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُمْ مِمَّا يَعْلَمُونَ. No, indeed we have created them out of that which they know, meaning from an impure drop of semen. So you know what you're created from is a worthless drop of fluid. So you have no honor unless you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. Another meaning ulama say here is that everyone knows what they have been created for, which is the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, unless you fulfill your purpose, you will not enter the garden of pleasure. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِرَبِّ الْمَشَارِقِ وَالْمَغَارِبِ إِنَّا لَقَادِرُونَ. So I swear by the Lord of the East and the West that surely we are able عَلَىٰ أَن نُبَدِّلَ خَيْرًا مِّنْهُمْ وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَسْبُوقِينَ. To replace them by others better than them, and we are not to be outdone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath here as the Lord of the East and the West that He is fully capable. And if disbelievers did not change their behavior, they did not believe in the message of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of bringing another nation who is more obedient to Him, and no one can stop Him from doing so. فَذَرْهُمْ يَخُوضُوا وَيَلْعَبُوا حَتَّى يُلَاقُوا يَوْمَهُمُ الَّذِي يُوعَدُونَ. So leave them to plunge in vain talk and amuse themselves until they meet their day which they are promised. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is consoling Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Leave them, let them be. And He's also threatening disbelievers that you can do what you want here, but you will find that when that day comes, which is for sure, it is promised, you will find your punishment. يَوْمَ يَخْرُجُونَ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ سِرَاعًا كَأَنَّهُمْ إِلَى نُصُبٍ يُوفِضُونَ. The day when they will emerge from the graves quickly as if they were racing towards an erected idol. So the word nusub means idols or places of monument. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders them, they will get out of the graves quickly as if they're rushing towards the idol, like they used to in this world. Whenever they had any need, they would rush towards the idol. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying on the day of judgment, when you will be called, you will get out of the graves as quickly as in this world you used to rush towards your lords, the idols, for help. Nusub also means a landmark or a point where people race to get first. So one meaning is idol, and the other meaning is a place or a landmark or a monument. So what will happen is they will get out of their graves and they will be so focused to follow the command of the day of judgment to gather that they will not go left or right or stop or wait. They will just go quickly, get out of the graves and run towards the place of gathering. خَاشِعَةً أَبْصَارُهُمْ تَرْهَقُهُمْ ذِلَّةٌ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الَّذِي كَانُوا يُوعَدُونَ. With their eyes lowered in fear, humiliation will cover them. that is the day which they were promised. So they will be humiliated in return of the arrogance they used to show in the worldly life by refusing to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's quickly review the summary of ayahs 36 to 44. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is only people with spiritual purity will enter paradise. So the first creation of man tells us that there is going to be a second creation. And then do not get deceived by the luxurious lifestyles of disbelievers in this world. It is a respite. It is not a bliss. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم